Yeah, there we go. All right, we're started.
Yeah.
Yay, Discord episode. Is a long time coming, but it had to happen. It had to happen.
I mean, also this gives us a really cool opportunity to flex our setups.
Our setups, yeah.
Yeah.
Why do stream all the time? Just
Well,
Anuki too. But you know,
yeah,
this is a fun time to flex your setup because you don't stream a lot.
that's fair.
But
yeah.
you have a really nice fucking camera, so you may as well just launch yourself into Boca Abyss.
Into the Boca
Into
Abyss.
the Abocus.
A Boca Abyss?
Yes, exactly. So for those wondering really quickly, we are doing a remote episode because it is currently the pandemic. This is a pre-recording and it's currently 2020 of June. Or June of 2020. This is a pre-recorded episode that's going to go up in the future for when we schedule it, and now you're seeing it now. So hello. Trump is still our president.
Wait, I didn't have a beard in June of 2020.
Oh, you didn't have a beard?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, this also wasn't my setup in 2020, but you know. No, some of my family members are real sick, so we decided to play safe, do a little remote thing. And this is a good opportunity to make sure that, you know, this is a good option, and hopefully this is an entertaining option that works. This is not going to be maybe how it looks all the time, but at the same time, I think, you know, at least in my streams, I think like really overdone overlays are kind of goofy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been really over them. Obviously, this is really simple. I would like at least a little bit of designing, maybe just a teeny tiny bit. But like super over-the-top overlays and moving parts and stuff, I've begun to kind of get oversaturated by that. So, you know, this, I'm very content with it. There's some things I'd like to change, but for now, I'd rather keep it simple. So we're going to keep it simple and stick to our roots and just be funny instead of try and add things that we think will be funny, but it's not funny.
That's true. I don't even know what episode we're on anymore. Did I do the last one?
113. So, wait. 113. Yep. So that will be me. Welcome, everybody, to Uneducation Station. I am Arthur. I'm here with Zach. Zach, this way. And we are the Uned Boys, and we're doing a Discord episode. Hopefully it's not too distracting, but I think it'll be fine. Hopefully the audio is okay. I don't like talking about about that stuff, so we'll just forget it. But I do hope everything is okay because we haven't really done any testing.
I mean, you know, you've had a lot of different opportunities to test audio in your like streaming workstation.
Yeah.
And so the only variable I think would be me, because I'm using a microphone that I don't really stream with often. It's mostly like I use it for recording and that kind of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, also I have the RE320 now.
You have the RE320. Some old fans,
I stole
some
it.
old you did steal. Well, you were borrowing it for now.
Wait, I thought I paid for it, right? Okay, I was about to say,
come
wait.
back for it. No, yeah.
You're the debt collector.
That used to be my baby. I no longer really had a reason to use it, so I pawned it off to Zach, where he has even more of a reason to use it. So yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm living USB mic these days, so it's been a lot of fun. Keep things really simple, just a single cord. Although I do miss condenser microphone life. I love condenser microphones so much.
They're so nice.
They're really nice. I miss using my MXL, but it is what it is. I get it, you know. I feel bad because we have some music playing. You can't hear it. I could have a way for you to, you know, I think about it. If I like shared my screen or something, then I would be able to share audio, but then it would fuck up the, you know what I mean? Okay, nobody cares.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's too many.
I had music playing
things
on my end too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Oh,
I did.
Perfect.
Well,
I'm on my second song now. Oh, you did? Your first song ended?
I only did one song. Yeah.
Zach.
I know. I should have had two
Zach.
songs queued. I know.
I'm just
Listen,
kidding.
who said I was good at this?
Hey,
nobody.
Now, you're literally the guy who always changes the camera. Now we don't have to change the camera.
Yeah. It feels weird. I don't know what to do with myself.
It does feel
now.
a little weird, but I think this is better.
I'm just playing with my coffee cup.
You do have your coffee cup. What kind of coffee you slamming down today?
So this says before patience. It's great. It's a Disney cup. So I made myself a frou-frou coffee drink today because I don't remember if I told you about this before, but my dad got super into doing really creative coffee stuff.
Right.
And so what he ended up doing, he bought an espresso machine that has a thing where it frosts the milk and all of that kind of stuff. And so he had it for a while, and then he switched to just a regular coffee maker. And then that coffee maker broke. My parents are going out of town again, and they are taking their little Keurig with them. And so I asked if we could grab out the espresso machine, and so I made myself like a weird peppermint latte thing.
Nice.
It's peppermint hot cocoa mix,
Peppermint
espresso,
is very nice. Yeah.
and milk. It's very good.
Very
it's
lovely.
Delightful.
So he just said, "Fuck it, slam an espresso." I don't even know how to do that, honestly.
I mean, it's not that hard.
It's probably not. You know, it's funny you say peppermint. Right now, my mom is spraying peppermint everywhere in our house because I can't remember what it is, but she has a solution that she made to take out spiders or prevent spiders, because we're having some spiders. Not a whole lot. No, it's not one of those like infestation videos that we saw in science class, but you know, yeah, I know those were not great. But there's a few here and there, you know, and I do my best to take them outside, but you know, my mom is just spraying this peppermint thing, and she went in my room this morning and said, "I'm gonna spray this," and she goes, "Oh God!" And it's like right in my face, and now there's peppermint in my nose, and I've been smelling it. You think that's a good idea? It's a good thing, sure, but it's been 5 hours, and it's still peppermint, and I'm losing my mind. Also, I forgot to mention, I did mention that our house is kind of, you know, sick a little bit, and I've caught a little bit of it. Nothing crazy, don't worry, I'm totally fine, but like my nose has been congested forever, and my ears have been plugged. So that sucks. So since my nose is congested, now there's peppermint stuck in my snot and congested nose. So I literally stuck breathing peppermint for the past 5 hours. Well, it fucking sucks. Well, it didn't for a bit. It didn't for like the first hour, but after the second hour, it was over. This sucks. So here I am.
Well, yeah. I mean, out of all the things to have stuck in your nostrils for multiple hours at a time, I'm glad that it was at least something that's like somewhat pleasant, you know?
I guess, yeah.
But
I'm gonna assume it's natural and there's no chemicals in it.
I hope so. Yeah, and also, I swear, it seems like it's like clockwork. Like every time right before we're about to record, you always get a stuffy nose, and my throat always gets super dry.
I know. I don't know why.
It's the curse.
I don't know
it's
what the
Uned
reason
curse.
is. I don't know who thought this was a good idea. I just get a stuffy nose. It's always when I record. When I record Uned, that's when I get a stuffy nose. When I stream on Social TV after Anuki 2, I get a stuffy nose. It's mad annoying. I don't know what it is. It actually might be my AC. I've always pinpointed my AC, maybe, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I can clean the filter. I haven't done that in a while. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's not that. Either way, that's besides the point. We have something to talk about. We have a fun episode because I have some things written down that I'd like to talk about.
On your blown out sticky note.
On my blown out sticky note. This is a scripted podcast. I mention this all the time, and this is my script. So, for Uneducation Station episode 112, for Uneducation Station 113, let's talk about some TikToks.
Some Tic Tacs.
Some Tic Tacs. Now, Zach, go ahead, Zach.
Okay, so I think the context is important when we talk about like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, you know.
Yes, I just mean short form content in general.
Yeah. So I think the main thing that kind of started the mainstream popularity with short form media was Vine. But even before that, you know, you're talking about like the random memes that would end up on YouTube, like the YouTube poops and whatnot. Like that was back in like the late 2000s, maybe early 2010s, where they were just like, oh yeah, this is kind of funny. Or like oh man, I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head, but like the little girl who threw the tennis ball for their dog and was like, go, and then the dog ran after the ball. She had the leash in her hand and just like
I remember the sound is like it was exactly that.
Yeah.
Go. It's one of those sounds. It's one of those videos that you can hear without needing the sound. Great video.
Agreed.
Everybody should watch it. Hope she's doing okay. She didn't suffer from brain damage or anything. But kids are
I mean,
tough.
then
Kids are
again,
tough. Kids are tough.
that was like 15 years ago.
I
I
guess
think
so.
like 2008, 2009.
Right. I guess. No, was it? Maybe it was.
Yeah.
Ah. Okay, well, that's besides the point. That's beside that, but that's not really short form content because, well, in my imagination, the reason why I did. Okay, before we even talk about our pros and cons, what kind of? So you use TikTok a lot, and I guess since you use Instagram, I would say more than me, Instagram Reels a lot
Mm-hmm.
by association, right? Would you say that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I am predominantly a YouTube Shorts guy, right? We have quite the color palette to talk about because we can only talk about anecdotal, our own experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
My experiences with YouTube Short, and your experience with my semi experience with TikTok, but your experience with TikTok and Instagram Reels. And even though I haven't experienced it myself too much, I still have my own opinions on those too. So, how much do you dabble in the YouTube Shorts?
Not a ton,
Not a ton.
honestly. I think it's more of like if I end up seeing that one weird random video that I find really fascinating, or like it's a YouTube Shorts version of like a video that I've
That you
watched
searched up.
like the whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha. That you've watched already.
Yeah. So like let's say someone makes like a 10-minute video making something or whatever, sometimes they'll take all of that footage and condense it into like a 1-minute YouTube short, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll just end up finding that randomly.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, I don't really dabble too often.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself more inclined to do that on other platforms
Mm-hmm.
outside of YouTube.
That's good. I would say that's a better
But
thing. But for me, I'm only on YouTube Shorts because I can't stand TikTok, and I don't want
which
to.
is fair.
I just don't want to give it its time to figure out my algorithm because YouTube already has my algorithm, and
Hmm.
YouTube and Google, their algorithm is pretty snappy. Like it changes very fast. And I know this because sometimes I'll be interested in one thing, and then one day I'm going through Shorts, and then like I'll be interested in. I remember I was really into boxing, and then all of a sudden there's all this boxing, taekwondo, Muay Thai, all these shorts back to back to back, MMA, all of that. And then I remember one day I was like, I'm all right. I'll just kind of scroll past them. And the next day, I've never seen it. I'll never see it again. I haven't even seen those creators ever. And this was
That's
probably like months ago. They're just
bro,
gone. They're
that's
just gone.
terrifying.
Right.
That
But
is
that's the problem.
terrifying.
That's the problem with, I don't know how it is in TikTok, but for me, it's such a fast moving algorithm that it it does cater to your interests, but only immediate interests. As soon as it thinks that you're done with something, it forces you to be done with it. And then that makes me think, okay, maybe I am done with it. But I'm not done with it.
Right.
That scares me. That scares me a lot.
It definitely is really weird when the algorithm starts to try to predict what you want to see or like what you don't want to see anymore.
Yes.
Like that, bro, that's spooky as fuck.
Very
Like
spooky.
that is such a terrifying idea of just like, oh yeah, I don't it's like that meme of like Andy or yeah, Andy from Toy Story being like, I don't
Oh,
want to play with
yeah.
you
It's
anymore.
literally that.
It's literally
It's
that. Yeah.
literally that. It's so fast. So what kind of TikToks do you normally get? I want to get a good feel. I can go
Um,
first.
go for it.
So for me in YouTube Shorts, that is, usually the type of things I get are movie clips, podcast clips, comedy show moments, comedy show stuff, and let's see, these days cooking. Although I'm not really be in the kitchen, but it's fun to watch cooking.
Mhm.
And let's see what else. There's a big one I'm forgetting. There's a really big one I'm forgetting, but there's a fifth one. But that's basically okay. But in general, informative videos, videos
Mhm.
that have a purpose. Those are
I
usually
think
the videos I get.
yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat too.
Okay.
Like I feel like I end up getting a lot of very similar content where it's a lot of like movie clips from like TV shows or stuff like that, and
Mm.
then just random hobbyist things like um, or I've been seeing a lot of like rock climbing stuff.
Okay.
Like a lot of rock climbing stuff, especially on Instagram. Like that's all I see
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram Reels is rock climbing. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of similar stuff like cooking, like how tos. I ended up going down like a blacksmith rabbit hole for a while,
Oh, you know
and
what? I did for a little bit too, just for a teeny tiny bit.
it's so good. It's so wholesome.
Okay,
Like,
that's okay. So that's one thing I really love about this short term stuff. I I mentioned it before. My fifth point, the fifth shorts that I watch, is that in general, encompassing everything that I watch, there's a point. There is
right.
some sort of storyline or story point that's being hit. There's a there's some sort of a subject, and the subject is being elaborated, and then you have some sort of conclusion of some sort. It's very, very, very basic storytelling structure, right? Very basic
Hmm.
storytelling rubric that you do. You want an engaging video, you have a topic or a subject, you come with a conflict of some sort. It doesn't have to be anything like dire, but it just something that exists, and then you resolve it. That's it. That something could be, I have, like, your subject can be these ingredients. The conflict could be cooking them. Literally, that's the conflict.
Yeah.
And then the result is what you get at the very end, right? It doesn't have to be the conflict is some bad guy takes my wallet. What am I going to do about it? No, it doesn't, this doesn't
Yeah.
have to be that. It has to just symbolize that the basic rising action, climax, falling action. Very
Hmm.
basic. And those are usually at least for me, usually the shorts that get pushed to my box because the shorts that do really well, I guess, right?
Hmm. Yeah. I kind of end up following a very similar prerogative when it comes to like the types of content that I like to digest just in general too. Like I end up going down rabbit holes of just like random bits of history or something like
Mm,
that. Like there's one YouTuber that I'm totally fine with name dropping. It's the Infographics Show.
mm,
They um they go into like so much different stuff, like talking about like World War I, World War II, talking about like just a whole bunch of crazy stuff there. And then they also will like, do like historical challenges where they'll like live on this diet for this amount of time and just kind of like, but it's all animated,
hmm.
which I think is the most fascinating thing because it's not like a person who's like, "What's up, guys?
Right.
Today we're gonna be doing a 90-day challenge where I only eat beetroots and celery." No, it's not really like that. It's more of like, "Hey, so we decided to take our favorite test subject, main pro tech guy, who
Hmm.
also is the narrator, and we're gonna put him in this random situation and see what happens."
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that kind of stuff where there's a point,
Hmm.
like what you were saying. There's a point to them making this entire video, them doing all of this weird, wacky stuff. Like at the end of the day, it's for the sake of science, or
Hmm.
they're talking about history or
Hmm.
something like that. So that's most of the stuff that I end up digesting on a short form media basis.
Right. I mean, that's a good thing, I would say,
Mhm.
because okay. Do I even want to talk about just the ones I don't like? Is it too early to do that? I feel like I should elaborate more on my stance because the whole idea of TikToks and oh god, I hate for some reason whenever I say TikToks, I get this idea that I'm saying it like an old person. I don't know why.
Back in my
Back in
day.
my day, yeah, I know the TikToks. As long as I don't add the, it's okay. But for TikToks and YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels and things like that,
Mhm.
there is a very fun subculture that I really love about it, and it's just the idea of learning new things. Because you mentioned the blacksmith stuff, you would never, never look it up. Not that it's
Mhm.
because like it's not a good thing, like interesting thing. It is an interesting thing. It's just you just personally wouldn't do that because there's a billion interesting things to look up, and it doesn't
Right.
encompass your little ecosystem of things that you love and enjoy. But because shorts is just so random, you'll just get the random short of someone making a pickaxe or an axe or something, You're like, I don't know what's going on, but this guy looks like he's, living the dream, and he's like talking about it, talking about he's going through what he did to get this to the end. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, but it makes, but it's fun to watch as the visual aids are playing, and I can follow along with them. Well paced,
Oh,
well
dude.
timed. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of some other ones, but you know what I'm talking
So
about. They're just random
I know an
shit.
example.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know an
Let's hear
example.
one.
I have one. It's the one where the ones where you see those people who find those like old rusty axe blades and then
Oh,
they
and
put a
then
new handle on it. They end up like
right.
completely redoing the blade end of the axe and just like
Mm-hmm.
refinishing it, just doing all this stuff, and it's just like this wholesome like, ah, yes,
Oh
look at
yeah.
where we were versus where we are now.
Yeah. Oh,
Or like,
I have a fun one too. I just not it's I don't get it every now and then, but there's another TikTok kind of genre area of people who work in cruise ships. Have you seen this?
yes.
It's just like the daily lives of employees who work in the cruise ships. And it's like, that's just so random, but it's a very normal, it's a thing. It's a real thing that happens. And
Yeah.
there's employees who live on, or who do have to live and work in a cruise ship for multiple weeks and months. What do they do? How do they sleep? It's a very
Mhm.
fascinating random topics that are just fun to consume, and those are the content that seems to work for me when it's fast paced, because it's something that's really interesting that I don't even know if I would, like, if I was scrolling YouTube and I saw a YouTube video that said, what do cruise ship staff employees do, or how do they work, how do they live, or whatever, and it was like a 30-minute video, I probably wouldn't click that.
For
Maybe, or
sure.
maybe it depends on how they make the thumbnail in the title. Then maybe I would, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
It's those
It's
random
that.
niches that just works really well for the short term.
Yes. And a lot of times I find myself seeing those really weird random things like a day in the life of someone who works on a cruise ship, and then I'll take that short that like piqued my attention, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll go and search on YouTube for like an actual video based on it, or
Mm-hmm.
like um a day in the life of a blacksmith or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like random stuff that like it piqued my interest in like less than a minute, and then now I'm investing hours of my time looking at people making Damascus swords and shit, like watching people make like demon slayer swords,
Right.
and I'm like,
I just saw one where it was just like this guy who has katanas, and he would
mhm,
remake like like Demon Slayer katanas, right? Um
mhm,
he's just he does that every now and then, but he's like a katana YouTuber, YouTube Shorts or whatever you want to call it, TikToker, who would, test the katanas on the katana bamboo little stand thing or whatever.
mhm,
And it's just like, that's fun. That's a random thing that I personally wouldn't have really looked up, but I saw it and it's interesting, and I'm glad that it's in my feed. There's, on the same vein, just recently I saw this like what is it? They called it fencing. But it's not like this fencing. Well, maybe it is. I don't know, but it was like people using like medieval weapons,
oh,
like the
like
big long swords and shit.
jousting, like on
Not
a horse.
No, not that. Just in general, the weapons.
Oh,
Not the
oh
activity of
yeah,
jousting, but just like long swords, using chainmail and stuff,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
things like that. And that's
Mhm,
so odd and fascinating just to watch because it's so random. But what this platform works really well for is having those random niche things, because people
right.
just have there's so many niche. I hate calling that niche because that sounds like I'm calling it small or whatever, but it's a community and a hobby that I don't partake in,
Mhm,
not within my little hobby circle, right? But
mhm.
it's something I kind of knew, I guess, existed, but I didn't really know until someone decided, hey, I want to put my hobby out there, and here's a good way to do it. Because sometimes you want to put your hobby out in a 10-minute, 20-minute YouTube video, nobody's gonna watch it. But hey, they might watch it in a minute long short or TikTok, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, if you take all of the things, like all of the highlights of that random thing that you do
Mm-hmm.
and just put it in like one after another, just like rattling off a bunch of interesting things that you do in your day-to-day life instead of doing like the slower paced kind of day in the life type thing. that can really pique someone's interest. And if they decide that they want to look at the other longer form stuff that you do, then like that's an entirely different thing. But you know what I mean? It's like
Oh yeah.
it's good to have that Reader's Digest version of something that you're really passionate about, and just throwing it out there and just being like, "Oh yeah, this is what my day looks like." And then it's just like boom, ba, boom, da, ba, ba, ba,
Yeah,
ba.
I think
So
it
many
works. I
things.
think it works well because you just don't really retain that information very often,
Hmm.
and that's a big one we talk about in a second. But information retaining, right? For let's just be honest, you're not retaining a lot of the shorts and TikToks. You just don't.
No.
It's just not how it works. Even
Right.
if you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, it's just too much. It's too fast. There's too many captions flying everywhere, subtitles shaking, terrible editing. There's just too much going on that
Mhm.
your brain just is like, this is not important. Maybe it's good for that quick dopamine hit, but otherwise, that's it. That's all you need to know. That's all it's there for. So the reason why these random things work so well is it takes advantage of that because you don't really want to learn about I don't know. You don't for me, right? I don't really want to learn about everything that has to do with medieval weaponry, right? I
Mhm.
don't want to watch a 10, 20-minute video. Personally me. Could be thousands. I'm sure there's thousands of people who will, but I'm not one of them right now. So for me right now, I am not interested in watching a 10, 20, 30-minute video on medieval weaponry and medieval fighting, uh, fighting formations and shit like that, right?
Mhm.
Not me right now, although, well, the fighting stuff is kind of interesting. But in general, it's not me right now. So that's why 1 minute, I'm just scrolling. The video is already posted onto my face. I don't have to click onto it. I've scrolled onto it. I've swiped onto it. So it's already here. It's already started. And then they do their quick 5-second hook to get you in, which it usually ends up either being the result, which is really funny. It's like the ending of the video, and then they cut back to the beginning to see
Mhm.
how it all started, which is a very fun story idea. And then I'm like, okay, I'll just watch it because it's only a minute ish, at least for YouTube Shorts. TikToks, I know they're longer. But for now, in the realm of YouTube Shorts, they're only a minute. You can watch it, cool. And then you can swipe and be very happy about it. That's all it is.
Dude, it's so funny because when I think about TikToks, I still think about like them having that limitation of only being able to be like a minute long. And
Hmm.
then I realize that there are like 5, 10, 15-minute videos on
Yeah.
TikTok, and I'll like be sitting there watching like a comedian tell a story or something like that. And then I'll realize after the video's over, like I'll scrub through it just to see how long it was. And I'll realize that it was like an 8-minute video. And I'm
Oh,
like,
man.
oh, Jesus.
That's
But
rough.
it's really interesting when you have that limitation
Hmm.
where you only have like a minute. And it used to be with Vine, you only have 7 seconds to tell a story. Like,
Right.
how are you gonna do that? Or you only have 7 seconds to convince people to watch the stuff that you
Hmm.
make. It's like, how do you do that? And like you were saying before, where it's like, I don't wanna call it like boomerang storytelling, but like starting at the very end and then cutting to the beginning, and then it has that perfect loop where it'll come
Yes.
back to the beginning, which is actually the end, and then it'll just like do that
Hmm.
cycle. I find that super
It's very
fascinating.
fascinating, but you have to do it well. Okay, I do have a pet peeve that makes me cringe every time, and when it's too obvious or
Mhm.
it's too forced. When it doesn't feel like it's a perfect infinite loop. Oftentimes cooking does it really well, but there's some. I think it's okay. I don't know how I feel about these immediately, but it's those just. I call them the news reporters. I don't know if I like them or hate them, but it's just people that are that feel like they're a news reporter. They have some sort of video clip and they talk about it like a talking head like this, and they elaborate and explain it, the
Mhm.
video as it goes on. I don't know if I
Yeah.
love or hate them, but for now they are a thing, right? This is what they call them. I call them news reporters. And then at the very end, they say, "And that's why," and then it
Oh
cuts,
my
and
god.
then
I
and then you should be careful because, and then they go to the begin, and then it loops, and I'm like, "Oh, that's so cringe." Oh, it just, I hate it so much. I don't know why it hurts my language nerve system whenever I hear it so much. It just doesn't work. It's so forced. It's not natural. I'm saying this as someone who doesn't make TikToks himself, doesn't make YouTube shorts himself, but I'm one who consumes it and consumes it a lot. So I'd like to think I have some sort of credibility for being able to, you're so unamused. What do you got to say?
Well,
you're mad, you're angry right now about it. It's fair. It doesn't work.
So it's hard for me to be so analytical about short form media like TikTok and YouTube shorts and stuff, because a lot of time no one is putting nearly as much thought into it as we are right now.
I know, but
most of the time when people are making just like random shit, it's just for the sake of making random shit.
yes.
And so when you try to
but these news reporters are really high produced though. They're edited. They have subtitles. They have a set. They have a nice camera.
Yeah, but
that thing went into Premiere Pro, Zach. That thing went into Premiere Pro.
Yeah, in the weird vertical aspect ratio,
yes,
which
exactly.
I tried to mess around with that, and it's weird.
It's very weird. I'm actually not a big fan of it, but go on.
I'm not either. It just is so bizarre. Like I find it so hard to take that stuff seriously. Just for the sheer fact that like it literally very well, if it's not like a credible news like organization or something like that, or like if it's not an established like company that specializes in that kind of thing, it could just be a random dude who's like me, who has camera equipment, and they're just like,
right.
You'll never believe what happened today.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. It's fun. I don't want to know if I want to jock them or not, because I feel bad doing that, because they're just doing it, because this is what they do. There are some news YouTube, there's news YouTubers that discuss on certain news within their area, and oftentimes they'll do that anyways. Like I watch tech tubers who have a segment like once a week or so where they talk about tech news of the week, right? That's fine, right?
But tech tips.
Yes. Well, I mean, he doesn't. Well, I guess he does. He has us tech linked with it, which that's what their weekly news thing would be. But for some reason, the overproduction and the overselling in a short just is so cringe to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's why. And then it's like, oh god, it's the overselling. I mean, I already am not a big fan of the YouTuber voice, the content creator voice. I already hate that. I hate it so much. Doesn't sound natural. Nobody talks like that. I understand oftentimes it's a easily not legible, that's for writing, but easily understandable, digestible type of tone of voice, because it's loud. So it's oftentimes, if they're peaking their microphone or whatever, hopefully they have a compressor, but it's going to remain at the same volume the entire time, so it doesn't dip up and down. It's usually at one singular decibel point, so it's relatively easy to understand. On paper. For me, I don't think so. I think that's besides the point. So there's that. It's loud, right? That was my point for that one. It's loud. It's very eccentric, right? Because they're screaming, they can kind of emphasize every single syllable that they want to and need to, because oftentimes when someone talks, they can kind of speed up a little bit as they speak, but that can also hinder comprehension immediately, right? And I understand that as someone who speaks fast, and I try to work on that. But it also could be a tool. These things I study in communications, right? So for now, it's loud and it's understandable, right? And because of those two, it's very easy to just, okay, this is a very simple format, and we see it all the time in current YouTube. The Mr. Beast, right? That's been kind of the how do I say it? The standard for making YouTube videos is Mr. Beast videos. This is how people edit now. This is how people talk now. It's how people subtitle now. It's exactly like a Mr. Beast video. Is that
it's like the template that people use for like hype videos, and it's kind of like how like for gaming videos you look at like Misfits, like the Misfits crew, all of those guys, like Swagger Souls, or like even Cryos Gaming, Smitty, like those guys have honed their craft on like gaming stuff. So when you see people who are up and coming on like the gaming scene, that's like the template that they'll use. Like they'll use like those types of captions with like
Well,
this
for their
type of
videos,
like,
I'd rather do that.
well, yeah, but like it's a similar thing where people are just following what's popular or like what the successful people are doing. That's just what everyone else is doing to try to become successful and popular.
There's nothing
Which
wrong
is
with
fair.
that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. I have a whole thing about, because look, I'm an editor for a very long time, right? This is why I have so much criticism, because I've been here for a very long time, right? Maybe not necessarily since like the old days, but as an editor, I pay attention to, well, maybe not every editor does this, but as an editor, or as someone who took film classes, production classes, and communication classes, not that I graduated in those, but I did, and those are the only classes I actually liked. So I do enjoy the topics that they went through. I pay attention to what draws the audience a lot, the way people speak and what people are really into, things like that, right? And because of that, being in the editing space, the content editing space, I'm not really in that space, but I have a lot of friends who used to be COD editors, turn into content editors. And I watch some of the videos that they edit, right? And I'm just like, man, it's not necessarily your fault because you're just being paid to do it, but I see no difference between this client versus this client versus this client versus this client. It's the same exact video. It's the same exact energy, it's the same exact talking tone. It's the same, like, they could be different games, they could be the same games. These are the same exact videos.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything different.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing all of the same jump cuts, all of the same like random effects, like the super zoom on one specific player when they say something dumb.
Yes,
and like
but
just,
okay, but it's easy to do, and it's so we do it so much now that oftentimes an editor has a preset to do it, just right there for them, and then they bang out that video in less than a day, and they make that money.
Fair,
right? So that's why I don't fault the editor.
Right. And it's not the editor's fault because that's the type of content that the content creator wants. Like that's the type of content that they expect from the editor, right? Like they're not sitting there being like, "Oh, I want to be a little bit different, do something kind of fancy like." It's not really like that. It's more of like, "Hey, I want to do this gaming stuff like all these other gaming YouTubers who are also doing gaming stuff. Can we do something that looks like a more professional does it?" And it's just like copy paste the same type of thing. Which, like you said, there's nothing wrong with that. Yes. Inherently, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, because I'd say this as an editor, I have this stance. There's this weird bullshit like term in our COD editing community called cloning, which sounds exactly what it sounds like. It is what it sounds like. It's taking someone's editing style or whatever and copying it, word for word, bar for bar, keyframe for keyframe. It's the same. It's basically the same exact thing. Yes, I knew you were about to say that. It's that, right? And in the past, people got really but in the past, people really cracked down on that shit, right? Like, oh, you edit like this person or edit like that person or whatever, right? But, well, first of all, classic phrase, imitation is the best form of flattery, right? At least to an extent. Yeah. If you don't copy someone, you're not going to learn anything. I think taking someone's idea already and reverse engineering it is a lot better than doing a bunch of guesswork to see where in this dartboard of skill you end up at, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, I've handed out a lot of project files. I handle a lot of logic, or my project files are often pretty free, or I'm sorry, not free, low price. But I've handed out just free project files as well. And not anymore, but before, people will be like, "Hey, Anuki," that's what they call me, Anuki, this guy stole your edit. I'm like, "What do you mean he stole my edit?" And I look at his edit and I'm like, well, I mean, I can see where the comparison comes from. The sync's similar to the way I do. The pan crop is similar to the way I do. The color correction is similar to what I would normally probably do. He edits the songs that I would probably normally do. The pacing and the stylization is about the same. Yeah, I could see that. But I don't know. What's the problem? There's because there's plagiarizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then this is the thing that's been so fucking annoying for school, right? Plagiarizing, and I understand the point of plagiarizing and why it's a bad thing. Obviously, you can't just copy and paste someone's already done academic essay and put it on your own. I understand that, right?
Did I sorry,
Yeah.
this is just a very, very quick aside. Did I tell you
Sure.
about the time that I accidentally plagiarized myself?
Yourself?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean you plagiarized yourself?
So I ended up having to retake the same class more than once. Or like I had to retake
Or
it
did you
for a
reuse
second
a
time.
paper?
I reused a paper, yeah. So I
Damn.
plagiarized off
That's
myself.
funny.
um yeah, the stupid software that they used was like one of those like detection, like plagiarism detection things. And yeah, it basically said that I completely ripped the entire essay from myself. And then I told them, hey, I accidentally submitted the wrong essay. And then I proceeded to like cheese my way into like them being like, okay, all right, you're fine. It's fine.
That's
Anyways,
funny.
continue.
No,
Sorry.
no,
I'm
it's
being
fine.
distracting.
It's okay. Well, just plagiarism is obviously a bad thing. Taking someone's work and copying it and pasting it and calling it your own is obviously a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I see it in a different way depending on the way you use it. For me, in the editing space, I thought it was fine. Why? That's a rhetorical question. Because they got to. I didn't teach them that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they may have asked for ops, which would be just opinions or feedback on their edit, and I may have answered them, sure. But I've never taught someone how to edit. I mean, I have some old like 2015 tutorials, but you know, those aren't important. I've never sat down and taught someone how to edit. So if someone can sit there and take my project file and study it for what it's worth and replicate it, then that's sure. Maybe that's
good on them.
That's good on them. Maybe that is plagiarism at that point because they are taking my academic paper and then copying and pasting it or taking it and using it as reference. But see, copying and pasting it and taking and using it as reference is it's such a loose idea, and it sounds so silly, but since it's such a content creator word, I think about it a lot. You know how you get shit on for like paraphrasing too much or something like that, or it does look like you're taking someone's paper and copying it, but you're just changing words and syllables. But that's what you're doing. You're taking someone's paper and writing it as your own words. So in a sense, you're basically just paraphrasing the entire thing. So what's to say that you can't just use someone's paper for just a second, or someone use my project file for just a second, and use it as a back-to-back reference, so you could learn how to do it yourself. And I equate that to fair use because it's kind of what it is.
So here's a thought. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought about this just now.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're writing a paper about a book, right?
Sure.
You're basically just paraphrasing the book.
You're paraphrasing the book
in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
So you're using that book as a reference to write about said book. And paraphrasing and doing all the weird literary shenanigans to make it like, oh, just change it around a little bit to make it sound like it's yours.
Yes.
That's literally all it is.
That's all it
is.
If
you think about it from the perspective of content creation, there is so much content on the internet now, like billions of hours of content on the internet just instantly available whenever you want it. So my question would be, is it humanly possible to do something realistically that has never been done before on the internet? Is that feasible or is that attainable? And for the sake of content creation, how much of it would be plagiarism and how much of it would be inspiration?
Right.
Because I mean, like the examples that we were just talking about, you were an editor in the COD community for a very long time. And you took inspiration from the editors at that time when you were still learning.
Yes.
And you used that to develop your own editing style.
Yes.
And then there are the people who are taking that inspiration from you and the way that you edit and learning how to edit similar to the way that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like at that point, it's just a revolving door of people being inspired by other people and then making it similar yet just ever so slightly different. So it's
Yes.
like it's a constant revolving, it's a revolving door of just like me being like, oh, I like this idea that you had. I'm gonna take it, change it just a tiny bit, and then
Right.
make it my own thing.
Oh my God, have you seen those videos? It was like I can't remember what it is. It had to do with like Ed Sheeran. And it's like, did Ed Sheeran steal? It was something stupid. It was like, did Ed Sheeran steal Marvin Gaye or something like that? And it's like, the thumbnail.
You can't steal chords.
No, the thumbnail was literally. Oh God, I don't remember even what it was, but it was a, some sort of Marvin Gaye just melody or some sort, and then apparently Ed Sheeran just. I don't know. I didn't watch the video, but Ed Sheeran was on it, right? And it's like, did Ed Sheeran steal Marvin Gaye? And it was just literally like a bum bum rest bum, and it was like that. Did he steal that, Zach?
Bro, wait, hang on. Okay. So plagiarism in music is such a weird rabbit hole that I could go down for hours and hours on end, but I will try to paraphrase
Okay.
for the sake of this argument.
Okay.
Sitting fucking crisscross applesauce for this shit. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that could possibly be written musically has been written already. Every single chord progression, every single melody, everything that you could possibly imagine through the confines of music how it is right now has been done before. So you can't copyright chord progressions.
Mm-hmm.
You can copyright melodies to a certain extent. Be like if they're unique enough.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't copyright high quality Italian hands. You can't copyright
The Italian words.
rhythmic notation. Like you can't do that. That's like saying, I don't even know of a good example. That's like trying to copyright the word react.
Oh God.
Like they couldn't do that.
Yeah, I know, right? Just trying to patent or copyright just a basic word that people use.
Yeah, like there's no way.
Right. It's like trying to copyright someone's like, I don't know, cookie recipe. Like, come on, are you fucking kidding me?
It's bread. Like leave me alone.
Calm down, son. I get that. It's that inspiration thing. Okay, I think here's the distinction that I make for plagiarism versus this inspiration type thing. So the reason why it's bad news bears for, I will agree that it's bad news bears to plagiarize an academic essay, a written academic essay, is because you're doing it purely not for an academic benefit or for your own like educational benefit. I guess you are doing it because you're doing it for the letter grade. Let me rephrase that. You're doing it to benefit your academic for your academic benefit and that only, not for yourself. When people want to copy my edits and my project files, they're doing it because they are seeking out to learn that editing profession.
Right.
So that is for their own benefit. It's not some academic benefit. It's not for some maybe it's for some standard bullshit, but it's them wanting to learn editing for themselves. Right? If I wanted to learn music, then I would, yes, take inspiration from artists that I love and make music and take the chord progressions from here and the melodies from here and see which, maybe this works, maybe this doesn't work. And that's what I would do. And I wouldn't cite that work in MLA. But if I were to be in an English class and I said, fuck this paper, I fucking hate this topic, I don't want to do it. So I'm just going to take someone else's and then just copy it and paste it.
Yeah.
That's not for your benefit. It's just for it's for your it's for an academic benefit, but not for yourself.
Right.
You're not earning, or you're not earnest for that information, and you don't want to digest that information. You don't want to consume that information for yourself. To learn. You don't want to learn. Basically.
Right.
I'm not plagiarizing a paper because I want to learn the paper. No, I want to get this letter grade and move on.
Right.
Right.
It's
Now,
it's
I've never
based on
plagiarized. I just want to say that I haven't plagiarized. I'm not. I haven't done it.
yeah.
I'm not going to benefit. I'm not necessarily defending it. I'm just saying I understand why it's a bad heebie-jeebies. All right. Now,
Right.
I got to say that on the record. Go ahead.
For the record.
For the record, I have not plagiarized.
Yeah. I think
That I know of.
Maybe. I think an important distinction is the intention, like what you were saying. Like the important thing to remember is the idea of why am I taking this information from somebody else? And if it's for the sake of learning things, like the people who are asking for your project files in After Effects, you know, like if they ask you for your project files just for the sheer fact that they're going to copy and paste all of your effects into their own timeline and just kind of be like, fuck it, I'm going to take credit for all of the work that he put in. Like, honestly, in the nicest way that I could possibly muster in my entire body, go fuck yourself. But for the people who are doing it for the sake of wanting to learn the way that you edit, and like, you know, they watched your editing chats and like all of that kind of stuff where you're just sitting there editing and shooting the shit about a bunch of random stuff, like that is a very distinct and unique difference. And it's all about the intent, and like what you were saying where you were like, oh, I really don't want to do this stupid essay about a book that I never read.
Right.
Like, I'm just gonna go try to find an essay that sounds like I wrote it and just be like boop boop, and then it's done.
Yeah. I'm gonna add to that because you said that you just go fuck yourself. You're gonna take my shit, copy and paste it, and call it your own. Here's the thing that I'm totally fine with. I think it's fine. The reason why I think it's fine is because just like the English professors that will call you out on it, there's a lot of people that are going to call you out on it if you do that. And like I said, I've said it all the time. I've got it a ton around 2020-ish. It's not a flex. I don't even deserve that. But people will be like, hey, Anuki, he stole your style. He stole your flow, word for word, bar for bar. He stole your shit. And I'm like, okay, well, let me take a look. And I take a look, and sure enough, I've seen some that is quite blatantly just literally copy and paste. I've seen some that they literally take my project file, and then they Control-Shift-S and save it under a different name, and then upload that. I've seen this. It's incredible. It's incredible, these people.
Did they even change the by Anuki?
I mean, I would hope. Yeah, they did. Yeah. But I've seen some incredible things. Here's why I don't have a problem with that. So that's obviously an extreme example, but in general, I have seen some where it is quite literally copy and pasting keyframes, right? I don't have a problem with that is because, or the reason why I don't have a problem with that is because everybody is different. Everybody has different tastes. Everybody has different likes and dislikes, and it's the reason why I don't like judging people's edits, because some people may think one thing is good, some people may think one thing is bad. I have a general that's why I kind of focus on the basics. Do you actually know like what you're doing before you add more flavor onto it, right?
Right.
That's where I judge edits, right? But let's talk about this flavor thing. This extra texture that you add to what is essentially just speed up, slow down, speed up, speed up, slow down, speed up for Call of Duty edits, Fortnite edits, whatever edits, right? Once you've understood all of that extra flavoring and texturing and effects and stuff, that's when you start to shine. And I have my own, and it's very basic stuff, but I have my own, and that's why people can recognize that, because I really took it and I sold it as that's what Anuki does, right? That's why people can say, hey, this is an Anuki edit. Why are you copying Anuki? Here's the thing. When they do that, they do it so often that they're like, okay, I've been doing this thing. I understand now how Anuki does it. I've looked at it. I've copy and pasted. I've started to look at these values. Maybe, and however long this is, maybe a week in after copying me, a month in after copying me, a year in after copying me, a decade after copying me, maybe let me change this slider a little bit. Right there. Right there. That's the moment when they start to switch and they start to understand that this is real. This is me. You know that? I'm exactly how I'm supposed to be now.
Copyright.
Shine on me. That right there. That is when they start to take on their own flavor down. That's it.
Yeah.
And I aspire for that moment. I'm waiting for that moment. I love that moment. That moment makes me so happy.
You know, it's really cool because there's a lot of parallels between editing photos and editing video.
Sure.
Because I definitely had a similar.
Oh yeah, you definitely teach people with the sliders. Hey, these are the sliders that I use.
yeah, no,
use
and
these sliders.
Yeah, just like, bro, vibrance, fucking go off.
Just send them, dog.
So I did the same thing where I was like copy and pasting settings from like my favorite photographers, and like, you know, they would post videos on like, you know, simple edits for photos and stuff. And then I started messing around with presets and all of that kind of stuff. And then, you know, now I'm at a point where I don't even use that anymore.
Right.
Like I'll just kind of dink around with the sliders, and like I've developed my own style of editing the photos that I take.
Right.
And like I can look at pictures that, you know, maybe my friends edited or something like that, and it looks like exactly how I would edit a picture, and I'm like, huh, that's weird. And you know, I'm just kind of looking forward to that moment where they start to just like like, you know, mess with their own stuff
it's a little
teeny
tiny bit. Just like, see, because they understand what the slider does now.
Yeah.
That's it.
And they can just kind of like ever so slightly just, and then that's the turning point. That's where the snowball starts to tumble, where they're not just trying to get the end result that you have. They're looking into the process a little bit and trying to see like, oh, okay, so if I mess with, you know, the shadows and bring those up a little bit, and then, you know, bring the highlights down, then it'll make it so that everything's a little bit more even. Or like, you know, messing with the saturation versus vibrance versus, you know, dehaze versus like all of these different things. That ends up making it so that they're actually taking steps to learn stuff on their own, as opposed to just being like, oh, this is how Anuki edits a COD edit, so I'm just going to do it that way. They're like, I wonder, maybe I should do a different color grade.
Right.
Or maybe I should do my cinematics like this as opposed to like that. And maybe just maybe
it'll look nicer.
Maybe I might not use that project file.
Oh, the blank slate.
The blank slate.
Oh man, that is I say this all the time, right? My idea, okay, there's this idea of mastering a craft. What is mastering a craft? What does that mean? Because can you really know everything? At a certain point, can you stop learning more? I think for me, mastering a craft is simply not necessarily obtaining all the information possible and not knowing and knowing literally everything and not knowing nothing, right? That, right? For me, mastery is being comfortable. Yeah. For me, mastering is someone cooking and being like, okay, recipe, no recipe. Let's just probably just do this, add this, maybe add the, maybe take some of that out. You know, that'll probably work. A clean slate. If someone can go in After Effects and just do a new project file, that's it. New project file, bam, empty timeline, empty folders, everything, and just work. If they can do that, that's a mastery. I think so. And not be. I mean, yes, sure. Presets and stuff, that's a very basic thing in editing. Yes, you throw in your presets. Ideally, you've made them yourself. Maybe you've taken some from others. I have things that I use from other people's project files too. I take some sound effects from some people's project files. Maybe a cinematic from another person's project file. Maybe I take someone's color grading from another person's project file and change it a little bit because that just kind of works for me. But in general, I take a clean slate and I say, okay, new project file. Let's start working. And I'm not scared. I'm not nervous. I'm like, okay, let's just go. That's mastery for me, right?
Yeah. And knowing, taking that project file, like that clean slate, that empty project file, and being confident in your ability to, like, you're fairly confident in what the outcome's going to be. Like you already have an idea in the back of your mind where you're just like, okay, so I want it to kind of turn out like this. Maybe I might do the cinematics this way or whatever. And then
as soon as you did the first move, I knew I already won.
Yeah. 4D chess. Just that idea of like, Okay, yeah. This is the general idea of what I'm thinking, and we'll
Mhm.
just kind of cross that bridge when we get to it. Also, I realized I've been playing with a guitar pick for like
Oh, is that the
most
same one that you
of the
gave me?
recording. Yeah.
Oh, I should
I
grab mine. It's all the way over there, though.
I have a red one too.
Cute.
Um um but yeah, dude, it is really fascinating to see how people's process to go through that kind of stuff can be different.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times you'll end up in a very similar place. And that's where the big word of the day, I guess, intention is like, or use case.
Mm-hmm.
Uh I had to.
Yes,
It's
of
for the
course.
uned
It's
bingo,
for the
of
Uned
course.
bingo. Yes.
Um but if your goal is to get to a point where you can go at it with a clean slate and not be scared, then the process to get to that point is just for the sake of learning. And that's where it's different from copy and paste and inspiration,
Mm-hmm.
or like plagiarism and inspiration, because you can take all of these things, take all these presets that people have come up with and use those as a tool for learning, or you could just use it to get the end result and not really be concerned about learning more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think, in my humble opinion, I
Mm-hmm.
think that plagiarism is taking someone else's work without giving them credit just for the end result.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just so that you can have something that somebody else has. And
Mm-hmm.
where that distinction is they're not trying to learn, they're not trying to grow, they're not using other people's resources to better themselves. They're just trying to get the end result.
Right. They're only there for the destination, but not the journey. The journey is very important.
Exactly.
If you want to copy my destination, feel free, but at least understand what the journey meant, right?
Hmm.
That's it.
And yeah, the journey could mean something entirely different for you than it was for me.
Right.
But at the same time, it's kind of that idea, that give and take. Like, oh yeah,
Well, it needs to be
you know,
different. That journey needs to be different. And it's going to be
yeah,
different because we're different
right.
people. That journey is that texture.
Hmm. Right. That journey is when you have that eureka moment where you're like, maybe I might turn this down a little bit. Maybe I
Yeah.
might turn this up a little bit.
Maybe Anuki's pancreas is too harsh. Let me turn it down a little bit. There you go.
Yeah,
Now all of a sudden you're no longer Anuki.
you're your own man,
You are your own man. Wonderful.
your own
Great.
person.
Your own person. Okay, I want to bring it back really quick.
Okay.
That was great. That was great. So YouTube Shorts, right? Okay, just in general. No, okay. You know, this is something I've been thinking about. This is a super, just it's not a left turn. It's a U-turn because we're going back. But it kind of is the same idea as copying people, but in a way. So,
Hmm.
what are just TikToks that you don't like? You don't have to say names. You don't have to drop names. Well, what do you don't like? It's just like a format, I guess, as a topic. I can go first.
Yeah, go first.
Okay. I dislike challenges that
Yes.
aren't challenging. That mean nothing. They mean absolutely nothing. And one of the ones I hate the most is when there's money involved.
Hmm.
So the reason is because there's some people. This is not some calling out bullshit. I don't believe in that, right? And I'm sure they're nice people. It's just not interesting to me. But since they're really popular, I'm sure it's interesting to other people. But here's the reason why I don't find it interesting. I don't remember what this person's name is, but he's really set on getting Mr. Beast's attention. It's very obvious about it, very blatant about it. He's some guy in a college campus that goes around and he kind of stares at the camera the whole time and is like, $1 for mystery quest.
Hmm.
Right? I don't know if you've seen this.
I have, yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay, cool. And obviously it's $1, so they're gonna take the mystery quest, right? And
Mhm.
oftentimes it's a little silly, like take off your shoes and throw it or something, get tackled into a pool, sure, right. But most of the time it's literally just them going around and then digging up some sort of present, and it's like a really expensive thing. Oh, you got me a TV? Cool. All right, and there's more, and then you keep walking around, and then, oh, you got me a new phone and new AirPods. Okay, cool. Then the
Mhm.
video ends. I'm like,
Okay.
okay. So what did we accomplish here? We didn't.
They're
We
like,
didn't,
I have money.
I have money. I gave them to my friends. I don't understand. Like, I'm sure. Again, I'm sure he's a great person. I'm sure their friends are great people. And I'm sure they mean well. But for me, I don't find it interesting because there's nothing interesting about it. It was just this long video, unnecessarily long video of awkward eye contact. And okay, so for step by step, $1 or a mystery box. If it was $100, then maybe I would take the $100. Like, you can approach some people and they take the $100 instead, and you will see some challenge videos that do that, where they go into like a store or something. Mr. Beast has some too that I watch, and they actually are more interesting because they go and they do, what is it, $1,000 or give? I saw this before. Take $1,000 or give the $1,000 to someone else. I've seen this, and then that adds an equivalent exchange, or not equivalent exchange. I wouldn't say equivalent exchange, but it adds two very different routes that actually hold different meanings and weight to them. So one option isn't obvious. Some people are going to take the $1,000, but at some point, someone's going to take the give the $1,000 to someone else. They do that, then they're rewarded with $1,000 themselves for being a good person, right? And that's a great video. I mean, giving people money, I mean, it's an interesting type of conversation and topic piece. But I mean, if it's Mr. Beast, he has a bunch of money. Why not give it to some people that need it, right?
Yeah.
So in a certain vein, I don't have a problem with that personally. But so if it's like $1 or this, so now you're leading them on to just take this, right? There's unless they're being like funny or ironic, nobody's gonna take this $1, right? So this is the obvious setup. Now follow me and go on this mystery adventure where I'm just going to give you this TV and give you this PS5 and give you this. You know?
I'm gonna sit here and make awkward eye contact.
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
camera for the entire thing.
I need to listen. Me and him, Asian bros for life. I get it, right? Stop Asian hate, right? I ain't got no problem with him. As a person, probably a great guy. I'm sure his friends are great. Hopefully he's doing well in school, right?
Right.
But his video is it's just not interesting. It's not interesting at all. They're really popular. For what reason? I don't know. Maybe people just like him. That's good. That's fine. Maybe people just enjoy the idea of giving people things for no merit or hard work. Maybe that's a thing. I don't know. But to contrast to Mr. Beast's video, the reason why I contrast to him is because he's trying to, he's every video he's like, Mr. Beast, please contact me, or Mr. Beast, please, hit me back or whatever, let's collab or whatever. The reason why Mr. Beast is never going to collab with them is because they do two different things. He gives money away for no reason. Mr. Beast proposes a challenge, right?
For money or monetary.
Exactly.
Stuff.
So here's a fun one I actually watched. I think they're called Are You Kidding TV? They might be on TikTok as well, but they're just two bros. I think they're usually on the same college campus. No, not as him, but they typically are they shoot in the same setting every time, in the same college campus. And they're silent. There's two guys. One guy has a sign or I don't know, maybe he's standing there. But another guy has, you've seen them, right? Another guy has a sign with the challenge. Like, if you go across the town and buy me a pizza, first person to do it gets $100, right?
Yeah.
Or if you see it, if you read the sign, oh God, what's a silly one? Jump up and down and don't say anything. And after 10 people do it at the same time, you each get $100 or something. And then it's just this funny video of 10 people jumping up and down, or like 1 to 10 people jumping up and down, and people and passerbys looking at them so stupidly, right? Or there was one where it was literally, they had a whole fucking pool behind them, and it's like, first person to get into a bathing suit and jump into the pool and find the key gets $1,000 or something. See, that's more fun. That's
silly.
It's silly, but it's also engaging. It also adds a plot line So it adds up the rising climax and the falling action. You know, it has everything. It's not just, hey, if you read the sign, say, here's $1,000, right?
Right.
There's no stake to it. There's no up and down. It's why do people love drama TV so much? Because there's ups and downs and roller coasters. There's stakes. There's high stakes. There's conflict, right? That's why television is so captivating, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very basic it's a very basic storytelling routine. Very basic. Propose a problem, a conflict. That's it.
And then solve said problem. Yeah.
And then solve said problem.
I definitely agree that does seem kind of silly. And yeah, it's such a weird part of the internet because we're just like, people are just like, oh yeah, I have a lot of money. Let's go on this random adventure.
Right. Ooh, big Yanni. Oh, there's another subculture of like giving money to people who need it. I guess that's the way I'm gonna present it, because it's like some person, I don't know, they're loaded for some reason. I don't know why they're loaded, but they're loaded. Not necessarily in the context of a challenge, but now it's like they do something. I think one of them is like they'll ask someone who kind of physically and outwardly looks not so well off, I guess, and they'll ask them for like $1 or something, or ask them for if they can spare a sandwich or something. Oftentimes these are homeless people. Oftentimes these are people who, I mean, you can say whatever you want to say about it, but just to be blatant about it, they don't look very well off, right? And sometimes, or usually in these videos, but oftentimes, there's be like, hey, you know, yeah, I can give you $1. This is my last $1, but here's $1, man. Or I don't have much, but hopefully, I don't got quite a sandwich. Hopefully this granola bar helps, right? Something like that, right? And then because of that act of kindness, the person who's recording would repay that kindness immediately with like with money, or I don't know, tickets to the NFL game later that night or something, right? That's good. That actually proposes that kind of idea of conflict, where the conflict it's not okay. Conflict is a bad word, right? Because conflict sounds like bad things. So let's say the climax. The climax is, or the issue, the rising action is the camera person or the YouTuber, I guess, in this scenario, needs something. The climax is is the person who has to make the social dilemma of, I really need this too. Can I pawn this off to this person as well? Can I share? Can I give this to them? That's the climax. Then and then the falling in resolution would be rewarding them, and that's why those work.
Right. Yeah. It's like if there's actually some stakes involved, or like if it's actually less of them just giving people money for no reason, or just trying to get the attention of one particular person, and it's more of just like, I want to give back, or like, something where it's not just like, look at how much money I have, I can blow it on whatever I want.
Right.
Yeah, that type of stuff is really annoying. Or there's this weird phenomenon on TikTok lives that is just so bizarre. It's like those people who bait the people watching to donate for one reason or another, like those people who pretend like they're sleeping and then they have like a whole bunch of donations that would be linked to sounds,
like the sleeping streams.
Yeah,
I've seen that, but it's a scam. It's a scam.
Yeah.
So
it's a scam.
So it's not people sleeping.
It's just
a fake video of someone sleeping.
Yeah, or they're just laying there on their phone or something, or just really weird.
See. So it's
okay. Or like the people who are like, let's say building a pyramid with playing cards, and then if they get a specific donation, then they have to start over again, or like anything like that. And they'll sit there and be like, please don't do this thing, I really want to finish this thing so I can go to bed. And then they're like, oh no, you gave me money and now I have to start over again. And it's like, it's just this whole weird thing where it's like they're baiting you to do something because you're giving off the impression that you don't want them to.
Right.
And so people like they're troll baiting, basically.
Right. Because it's something that they're obviously going to pay for.
Right.
Okay, cool. So the sleeping streams have existed for a while now. And I think those are a lot more fun because it's interactive. It's you trying to wake them up, right?
Right.
And that's fine. The reason why that's fine is because it's actually kind of a challenge to do it. And at the end of the day, it's a donation. And oftentimes these donations are from their community already, who already enjoy this creator, who already support this creator. And they're just in for a fun ride. Because sometimes some people they just got that type of money to just blow it. Just for some funsies, right?
For shits and giggles.
For shits and giggles. Now in the case of, oh man, I have this big Jenga tower. If you donate $1, I have to knock it down. Right? That's either because the incentive is low or the incentive is too obvious. Because trying to donate to make someone wake up, that's a much more difficult challenge than donate X amount of money and I knock my card down. So essentially I wake up.
Yeah.
Right? If someone donates X amount of money, I'll just wake up. That's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not it. That's not funny.
Yeah.
That's not engaging. Yeah. So that's that. That would definitely, I would agree that'd be a weird thing.
Yeah. There's just a bunch of weird stuff, specifically on TikTok.
Oh, you know what's
so weird?
Okay. Remember when I talked about those really shit YouTube short TikToks where it's like over sharpened and bullshit like that?
Yeah.
Okay. I've learned some things. So I mentioned, this is very fascinating. Okay. So I mentioned that my younger cousin, he is getting into YouTube shorts. I mentioned this, right? Did I even mention this? I think I mentioned it in the beginning of the podcast, but I don't remember. My younger cousin, he's been getting into YouTube shorts. And by younger cousin, I mean he's like 7 or 8, I think. Right? He might be 8 now. So he is getting super into it. Like he recently got his dad's old phone, which is like an iPhone 7 or something like that. And he's been using that to make shorts. He has his own channel. And interestingly enough, he got really into My Hero Academia. So he's been making My Hero Academia shorts. He also is into Kirby. So he makes Kirby shorts and stuff like that. Very fascinating. Very fun. So what's the harm, right? For now, there is not. For now. And I'll talk about that in a second because I'm really conflicted on how to feel about this. So I'm not going to pull any up. But I think we've all seen, and I'm going to say this because we've all seen it and we've all scrolled past them really fast, okay? The really stupid, shitty anime edits. We've all done it. We've all scrolled past them because we don't want to see them because nobody wants to see them. Well, apparently people do. I don't want to see them. Zach, do you want to see them?
No.
Okay, good. Well, we're on the same page. Now, this is not me shitting on his craft. I'm going to bring this up again because it's very fascinating. The reason why they're not interesting because, again, they don't prove a point. It's oftentimes they showcasing one character in a really shit with the same basic music that we all know. It's like Sahara from that one thing, or it's just the same songs over and over again. And it's the same over-sharpened video over and over again. It is some click and drag transition. And it just serves no purpose at all. Okay, here's some other stupid ones. There's like Goku versus like, you know, some stupid shit, right? It's like who would win, Goku or Naruto or whatever. And then it'd be like a tally, like a 0-0, and then it would like show, oh my god, these are so dumb. It's like Goku, and it shows a picture of Goku, and then it shows a picture of Naruto, and then Goku 1-0. What do you mean 1-0? What did they do? They didn't fight. There was just a picture of them. I don't understand. And then they would keep slides showing over and over, and they would just incrementally get, like, one of them would get a point every now and then. One would get a point, and nothing. They're not fighting. They're not doing anything. I mean, maybe they're doing their jutsus and they're doing their kamehamehas and stuff every now and then. Nothing is happening, but they're just getting points. Why are they getting points? They're not. There's no reason for them to get points. And then that's it. The video ends. That's it. It's absolutely stupid, right? And they have this for all of them. I keep seeing it. It's so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry. I listen. You're having fun editing? That's great. But watch like a few AMVs and get back to me and see if you can, sometimes I found that this YouTube Shorts and TikTok thing is a great way for new people to get into it. Same reason why my younger cousin is getting into it, right? Is because they're interested in content creation, and YouTube Shorts and TikToks are very easy to do, very simple to do. Well, okay, I'm not going to say easy. In the grand scheme of things, I think it's easy, but I'll just simplify it too. They're very simple to do. But what's fascinating is that now, the reason why I'm okay with it is because he's learning editing. He's doing these things.
Right.
He's learning how to add subtitles and captions. He's learning how to do this, this stupid fucking sharpness thing, but he's learning how to do it or whatever. I learned that it's actually because of this app called CapCut. Apparently, it's a free editing app of some sort. I want to check it out just to see how fucking stupid it is. But I think that's what it is because I've seen some of his shorts. I've seen some of his My Hero Academia shorts or whatever that look fucking. They're great, sure. But I've seen it, and then one day he was like, "Hey, can I get this app?" And I'm like, "Sure, whatever." Talk with his mom, got it downloaded on his phone and his iPad and shit, And then the next day he shows me one of the shorts he made, and it's that fucking sharpness thing. It's that. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's the stupid sharpness, unsharp mask bullshit that doesn't look good. I don't care. I'm sorry. It just doesn't look good.
Why?
I think
is that
because
a thing?
it's because what people really like to see is a 1 to 2 difference. Because if you disable that, the video looks way different. Obviously, because you fucking shitted on the video the whole way. That's all. It looks bad. I'm sorry. Listen, Felix, if you're watching this, it just doesn't look good. But here's the reason why I'm okay with that. Because you're 8.
He's learning.
He's 8. He's learning. What about these other people, Zach? They're like 20.
They're adults.
They're adults, and they're doing the same shit this 8-year-old is doing. This is not the case of there's always that 8-year-old who could play piano better than you. It's not that case. He's literally just using a free software and some drag and drop effects. That's all he's doing.
I can't do it, man. There's
nothing wrong with him doing that because he's learning. That's a learning process. He's at that critical learning age. That kind of I think the critical age is actually like toddler, but the before puberty age where you retain a lot of information very fast, right?
Right.
He's in that point. So if he wants to learn how to fucking do everything I just said that looks stupid, do it. Throw those captions. Do the shit. Do the sharpness. Do all of that. Everything we just said for the past hour, go ahead and do it because you're learning so much.
So if you're doing it for the sake of learning, this is going back to something that I was talking about before. If you're doing it for the sake of learning, that is totally fine and okay, and I encourage that.
Yes.
But please, for the love of God, for the love of Glob, stop doing it for clout. There's something that just irks me to no end, where people just use that weird sharp mask, whatever the fuck, and then they're just like, yeah, I like this movie clip where they have background music that's louder than the fucking dialogue, and then they'll just sit there and be like, oh, I changed it just enough so that the algorithm can't see the fact that I'm totally ripping a fucking Marvel movie clip, and they're just like, yeah, sure, this is totally fine, and then they're just like, thank you for the ad revenue for all of this stuff. It's like,
I think I screenshot. Okay, here's one. Like I screenshotted one recently. Oh, you can't see it very well. This is like a movie clip. There's black bars on the top and the bottom, so it's not even properly resized. And you can't see it on my screen right now, but it's just over fucking sharpened. It's not a video. It's just it's a picture. But for what reason?
I hate it.
For what reason?
I hate it.
For what reason? Oh, here's some other ones I saw. I screenshotted it. I don't know if you can tell. Oh, it's really hard to tell. Maybe if I lower the brightness a little bit. Like here's a movie clip that I don't really know about.
Oh.
I don't really know much about it. Or maybe it's a TV show. I don't know. But you can't see it very well. But if you look closely, there's this white streak. There's this white bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have it recorded because this is a picture. But it's another fucking video.
There's another video
There's another
under that video
playing right here. And this is just a poorly cropped video. Can you see it now? Like if there's a video right here, for whatever reason, I don't know what the reason would be, but there's another, and I don't know what the video is, but it's just right here. All right? That's a good one. That's a fun one. That makes no sense, right? Oh, God. Oh, and my favorite, I don't know if I could find it right away, but you know the ones where they have like, you know, like Jetpack Joyride or some bullshit on the bottom of the screen that takes up most of the screen?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, or the, what's the other one? What's the one everyone does?
Subway Surfer.
Subway Surfer, that's what. For what reason? That shit's so fucking annoying. For what reason? I'm trying to find it. I can't find it. I screenshot a ton of these, but I can't find any right now.
I think you've showed me these before. But I've also seen them too in the wild, and it makes no fucking sense. And it's so funny because I've seen videos of people making fun of that trend where people would be like playing piano or something, or like playing violin, and then they'd be like, "Oh yeah, sorry," and then they would pull out like their laptop or something and play like Subway Surfers.
Oh yeah. Well, those are great. Those are great because it's like, it's like like they know, they understand. This is some stupid thing that people do for no reason. I think they're actually bots. Let me explain, okay? So I found, there's this, I don't know if I could find the screenshot. Oh, here's a screenshot. Okay, so here's this one, right? It's like Tetris or some bullshit. And there's a SpongeBob clip on the top, right? Look how, first of all, look how much it takes of the screen. Or is it the SpongeBob clip,
I hate it.
I
hate it so much.
So the person... So the name of it is SpongeBob: The Most Shocking Twist in Cartoon 190 in Cartoon History 194. I don't remember what episode it is. Right here it shows the game name of the game that's being played called Matchy, and it's by Future Marketing KP5DS.
I'm so glad I know that information now.
No, okay, so these are bots. These are scams. This is what I've deduced. I'm sure. I've deduced that these are scams. First of all, Future Marketing, okay, whatever. Maybe that's someone's name. KP5DS. That is a randomly generated 5-character name. You know, code or whatever, right?
We've gone too far.
We've gone too far. And I've seen this format by Future Marketing AB742 and Future Marketing Z5221 of the same game. I've seen it. I've also seen some, I don't know if you've seen it. This might be only a YouTube thing, but there's one where it's like a celebrity face changing app of some sort. It's like, oh my God, I wish I screenshotted it because it's so fucking stupid. And it's like, they take like, I don't know, Charlie Puth or whatever. I don't know, right? And then it's like, celebrities won't tell you about this app, this face-changing app they use. I'm like, shut the fuck up, and I scroll past. And then a few more later, I see it again, and it's like Taylor Swift or something. And it's by some randomly generated code username. Every single time, without fail. Yep. So now there's scams. There's advertising scams on Shorts, and potentially TikTok as well.
I'm pretty sure... Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's a thing. Like, yes. There's no way that it's not way more common than I think it is.
I mean, also, why can't you just make a bot that would just stick go on the internet, find a video of or a clip of SpongeBob, and then have it stapled to the top of a 16:9 project file, right? And then have a game of some sort. Presumably the same video file the entire time, the same exact video file of this Tetris-looking game, stitch that to the bottom of it with the text, and then have that bot upload it, have the bot use a certain title, and choose a number or whatever, or choose different now. You know, this is all very, I mean, I'm not a coder, but very basic things you could do for a bot.
Right.
So yes, this is a scam. These are scams.
Oh yeah, no, without a doubt. And the weirdest part is the idea. Well, another weird thing is that my camera is being a dick and deciding that my microphone is more important than my face. Anyways, so the weird thing is that it almost seems like it started as a joke, like people being like, "Oh, haha, I'm gonna use this to trick the algorithm into letting me post like, movie clips and stuff, to now they're using it for like advertising, and now
Right,
it's like
right.
a thing. And that's how you know that like it's gone too far, when the advertisers are like, yeah, I'm going to put my game at the bottom and I'm going to use a random SpongeBob clip. It's like, we've gone too
Yeah,
far.
it's
We've
not
flown too
good.
close to
It's
the
not
sun.
good. But I don't think it's
I don't
though.
like
I
it.
don't think those are the developers. It's literally just a random company, probably in India. Sorry, I know I'm throwing them under the bus, but we have all seen the videos, right? And they just make these. They just have a bot to scrub SpongeBob clips and put a random video file of this Tetris game and just do it over and over again and get downloads of some sort. And probably maybe the game is free, but it's just fucking loaded with ads, right? We've all seen those.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just make a fuck ton of money from a bunch of kids who don't know any better.
Yeah.
So that exists. That's a thing that exists now, and I'm so happy that it exists.
Yay. I'm so excited.
Oh, I want to ask, have you ever disliked a YouTube video?
Yes.
Yes, you have. Do you actively dislike YouTube videos that you don't like?
Not much anymore, because it didn't matter, or it doesn't matter anymore.
If you watched a video and you didn't like it, would you dislike it? Right now.
Not necessarily. Like, I mean,
Is it something you're comfortable with doing?
I'm comfortable with it for sure, but
Okay,
like,
cool. That's all I need to know, yeah.
I'm not actively seeking out videos that I'm
Right.
like, oh, this is dumb,
Right.
dislike, and then I'm gonna give them some more engagement, and I'm gonna type out a bunch of mean shit to say, just like, fuck you. Here's some more interactions for the analytics.
Okay,
bitch.
gotcha. Bitch. No, that's all I wanted to know. I wanted to know if you were presented a video right now and you didn't like it, would you dislike it? Whether it was for adding to algorithm or not, you just watched the video, you didn't seek it out, just watched the video, you didn't like it, you would be okay with disliking it.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yes or no?
just kind of yes, with some stipulation. Mm-hmm. Like it would have to be like a really, really bad video for me to like dislike it, because I mean, a lot of times it's not even worth the effort. Most of the time.
But what if it's a video that you personally dislike? It's not because the video is inherently bad. It's just not of a subject that you like. It's not something that
then I'll just
you.
keep going.
Then you'll just keep going.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a YouTube video, just like a YouTube video.
Oh yeah.
So
leave.
I should have been more specific. You'll just leave. So I'm the same way. I've never disliked a video. Ever. If there was a dislike playlist, I would have no dislikes. Maybe I would only dislike, like, I don't know, bad scam videos, because you should dislike those.
Or Baby by Justin Bieber.
Hey now! No, don't you dare say that. Baby is a banger. Luda!
Bro.
I love that song.
Luda!
Don't you dare disrespect Baby like that. I know the entire song by heart, and I could do it right now.
Please don't.
When I was 13, I had my first love. There ain't nobody that compared to my baby. Nobody would ever see us, will never come above. They had me going crazy. They had me starstruck. It woke me up. Daisy, don't need no Starbucks. See, listen.
What?
So don't ever do that again, Zach. I was a believer. How dare you? Anyways, you could be my number one girl. See? Fuck you. Anyways. What was my point?
You were saying that you never disliked videos.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. So if there was a dislike playlist, you'd probably not see any dislikes other than those obvious, like, Russian Indian scam videos, right? That are like, how to crack this and crack that. And it's obviously a fucking bad video. And it's an obvious, virus, But otherwise, I don't like or dislike videos. I've begun to get into YouTube Shorts. And the difference between YouTube and other things, such as Instagram and TikTok, is that they don't have a dislike. They only have like. They don't have a downvote of any sort. You can not recommend this channel or whatever, right? Or not recommend this creator, not recommend this, but there's no dislike button. So in the beginning of YouTube Shorts, not in the beginning, but when I started to get into it more often, I found myself actually disliking some shorts that I didn't really like. whether they were popular or not. And I was doing it not because I disliked the video. I did it in the sense like, okay, I just don't want to see this in my feed again. And I thought about it and I was like, wait, is this bad? Wait, should I not be doing this? I thought, yeah, right.
You should not.
I shouldn't be, but it's so. I remember, see, YouTube got so much flack for removing their dislikes, and then for the first time in my life, I was like, wait, maybe I shouldn't have this dislike button here.
Well, yeah, it's a weird moral dilemma because you're trying to figure out that fine line between like how much is this negatively affecting the performance of the video itself for the demographic of people who actually want to watch it.
Exactly.
But also at the same time, you're like, I don't care about this Minecraft video.
Yeah, the proper thing to do would be to not recommend this channel, right? Or not recommend this short, this TikTok is irrelevant, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not an easy step to do. You have to hit the triple dots. You have to hold the screen. Then you get a pop-up menu. Sometimes you may not get the pop-up menu. Maybe the video just keeps replaying over and over again. You get really annoyed. Like, fuck it. Dislike. I don't fucking care anymore.
I don't give a shit.
I don't give a
this
shit.
Is bullshit.
This is fucking bullshit. There's too many steps to do that. It's very discouraged to do so. So I was like, fuck, I'll just dislike it. I don't know. Like, it's just like a Fortnite video. I don't play Fortnite. I don't watch Fortnite. I don't have a problem with Fortnite. I just don't play it. I don't watch it. So I just dislike it, and then maybe I won't see it again. Now, obviously, that doesn't happen. I just keep seeing it for some reason. But, that's what my idea was. Here's the problem, right? And this is when I realized that this is probably a bad thing. It's because I went to dislike a video and I realized that this video has 0 likes, 0 comments. Potentially maybe 10 or 100 so views. And I was like, oh.
Don't do that.
Oh, I shouldn't do that. I was like, oh. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Because that's not fair. That's not,
Can you imagine the only interaction you get? The only interaction you get on a video is just a single dislike. Oh my God. That would be so disheartening.
I know. But then I think about it, I feel like maybe a lot of people do dislike shorts because it's so easy to do. I was doing it without even thinking about it.
Sorry. That was stupid.
I was just not, I was just like, it's just so easy to do. I don't see a number anymore. So I'm just like, I just don't, I don't like this. So I'm just going to dislike it. And then I thought about it at that one moment, and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't.
Maybe I should just walk away.
Maybe I should just scroll past or not recommend this channel or whatever it is, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was like, oh. Because technically, I imagine that it was fine, but I was thinking maybe they should just remove the dislike button from shorts. But the problem is that YouTube shorts are technically just YouTube videos, just in a different kind of formatting and layouting. But they're searchable just like YouTube videos. You find them in their history just like YouTube videos. They're presented as YouTube videos, just as a short subcategory, right? But they are technically YouTube videos. You can watch them as YouTube videos. So that's why the dislike button needs to be there, because the dislike button still remains for other YouTube videos.
Right.
Yeah, maybe they can remove it, but I don't know. It would be weird, right? Because it's technically still a YouTube video.
That's where that weird moral dilemma is, where it's like, I understand the purpose of the dislike button, but also at the same time, does it make sense for it to be here as opposed to like just regular videos?
It's the second button down that you can click. Like the top one is a like, the second one is the dislike.
Right.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It's a more inviting button to click.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just go here.
I just be here. I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting that I have never disliked a video in my entire life until just recently, until just now, because of YouTube Shorts. I started disliking a bunch of fucking videos. I was like, oh, fuck.
What have I done?
Have I been ruining a bunch of people's days? Oh, shit. I didn't mean to. I just didn't want to watch the video. I'm sorry. I just wasn't interested, because it was just a fucking Fortnite clip of poorly cropped. It's poorly cropped. You can't see it. You don't even see who dies. You don't see what your weapon switching, because I know people really love that shit. You don't see any of it. It's just a poorly cropped Fortnite video, and that's all it is. It's just a kill. It's not a win, or it's not like a I'm entering this air. I'm entering the, what do they call it? The bubble? Not the bubble. Well, they call it the storm, right? That's the outer thing, and then you go inside.
Mm-hmm.
I'm entering it. Whereas in the final bit, I'm getting shot at. I have low health, and I do this crazy build maneuver, and I beat them. See, there's a storyline, right?
Yeah.
I don't play Fortnite, but I would watch that. I would find that interesting because it's engaging. It's the underdog capturing the upper dog over the guy, king guy, the better, the upper
antagonist
hand,
guy,
the antagonist, the upper hand. A protagonist and antagonist is painted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's engaging. I would watch that. I don't watch or play Fortnite. I would watch that because you painted that image. I've watched tons of Fortnite videos where. Or I've not scrolled past it because, hey, so they some people put some time in editing. They made it so it's not too distracting editing. It's not some fucking keyframe whipping everywhere for no fucking reason, you know? It's just a nice, very basic Fortnite clip of someone in the low, someone in the underdog position, and they're making their way back up to get that victory royale win, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good video. Whether you like Fortnite or not, that's a good video.
Storytelling,
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely one of those weird situations where there's so much that goes into any type of content, regardless of what it is. And you kind of have to like figure out what story is worth telling, or like, you know, how the practicality of things,
right,
you know? So it can be a little bit tricky to try to figure that out. But this was a fun discussion.
This was a very fun discussion. Thank you. I appreciate that. I started my music, by the way. I don't know if you have to.
I don't have my music.
Oh, you don't have the music on. Okay. It's all good. I mean, I think this my session should be good enough, but it's good that we have it back.
Oops.
Regardless, it's all good. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the Discord session. This was a lot of fun. Very simple to do. It worked out really well. I think the conversation still made its way. I mean, obviously, I would always prefer a one-on-one session, you know,
right.
Human to human. But I'm glad this format worked fine, and we have it as an option in case, you know, sometimes we can't make it, sometimes we can't be asked to leave our fucking bed, or can't be asked to get in, or Zach can't be asked to get into a car. That's fair too. Maybe next time I'll see you guys in Zach's room, and we'll do a Zach's room set. Who fucking knows? You never know these things. But we like to keep you on your toes.
That would be fun though.
That would be really fun. That'd
cool.
be really fun. But yes, thank you everybody. Thank you everybody for listening and watching. This has been a fun episode. Don't take everything too hard. This was not a session to call people out. This was just two guys observing the landscape as it currently is right now, and our thoughts.
Two bros chilling in a hot tub,
holding hands. So if you like this, check out the description and like the video, all that type of stuff. Some videos are popping up, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I don't have a fade out. Woo!